By the way, we have a situation brewing in Minneapolis at the Big Ten Women's Basketball Tournament.
Oh, what's that, Connor?
I'll tell you why this is important. So, Maryland is currently leading one seed Ohio State by 16 near the end of the third quarter. 17, I guess, 61-44. This is significant because the winner of the game that follows this between Nebraska and Michigan State will get the winner of this game. Nebraska has beaten Maryland this year. They have not beaten Ohio State. Little upset brewing. Speaking of situations brewing over the last several weeks, Greg McDermott has been a topic of conversation and where he might end up being. But that was all kind of put to bed this morning. Tom Shatel, the Omaha World Herald, joins us right now on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Tom, good afternoon. How are you?
Well, Connor, where are you going to be tonight? Are you going to be at hockey tonight, or?
Well, I think so. I was supposed to be at the ballpark for Creighton baseball, but that has been postponed. So I think I'm just like on my couch tonight. This might be.
Oh,
this will be a different deal for me.
The man about town is not going to be about town. He'll be home.
I will not be about town.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with me. I'll figure out something. Probably just fall asleep.
Well, good for you.
But I will be at the ballpark the rest of the weekend, so that'll be good. All right, Tom. So let's dive into this. Obviously, the news is significant because it's something that we've been wondering about. Last time we talked is kind of after you reported that they were starting to lay the seeds down. It took a little bit for us to get to the point where it's announced and official between Creighton and Greg McDermott. I guess how do you pull apart the last couple weeks here leading to this all getting done?
Well, the background on this is that Mac had he got a raise and extension 2 years ago. Okay, and so, but he had 2 years left on his deal, and the people who know him and the donors know that he wants to stay, and that he's going to turn 60 this fall, and he probably has wanted to coach another 5 years in that area. So they were, when the Ohio State thing happened, a lot of these guys jumped into action. Some of these donors, and they were worried that he's only got 2 years left, and he wants to go another 5. He's going to have people coming after him, and he's not near the top of the Big East in money, and he felt like he was underpaid. And so, of course, every coach probably feels that way, right? But I think he was, and I compared to what he's been doing on the court. So I think that a lot of these guys were thinking, we need to get this to get him locked up. So there was some concern among the top donors that the president and the athletic director were not going to be in a hurry to do it. So they contacted me. And so I'm always glad to hear from them. And the message I heard from, several was that they were going to try to go see Father Hendrickson and sit down with him and try to make him understand that he needs to do this now and not wait till the end of the year. They were concerned of that. So between that and I contacted Father Hendrickson, who I've had a good relationship with in the past. I don't interview him a lot, but know him and like him. And so I texted him and said, here's what I'd like to talk to you about. And then got a call from his PR person, what do you want to know exactly? And so I told him, And then Father Henderson got back to me and said, "Hey, sounds good. Let's get together. I'll get back to you." And this was around the time of the UConn game, and so they win that game, and you know what happens there. And then suddenly, a couple of days later, I'm hearing that the negotiations are suddenly on. That Father Henderson and the coach are talking. So things got accelerated there in a hurry. So, but Connor, I just think it was a lot of this was just born from a lot of people who want to keep Mac and want to make sure that he's taken care of, and didn't want to wait because Louisville is going to open, and certainly several other jobs are going to open. Maybe Iowa. That we hear a lot of noise about McCaffrey maybe retiring. There's just jobs everywhere that open up. So, and when you beat UConn, you become a very popular guy for ADs. So, I think they just wanted to get it done.
What do you think? What do you think Mac's hesitancy was on this thing? Like, obvious. I mean, we talk about the money. I don't think it was primarily that. Obviously, you need to get to a point where, because he is a top 15, 20 coach in the country at comfortably, right? So that's a part of it. But
he is now.
Yeah,
he was not before.
But he was that kind of coach, whether the money said it or not.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I didn't get the sense that it was exclusively about that from his side. I don't know what you took away sort of from the hesitancy of doing this over the last couple of years here.
I don't think it was. I don't think there was any hesitancy on his part at all. No, I think he wanted to get up, get his salary higher. I mean, of course, like I said, every coach wants that, right? But I think partially, and I certainly can't. I've just heard this from several people, and I have not confirmed it, so I don't know how true it is. But I think they're, they would like to see the university. Coach Mack and other people in the department would like to see more money coming out of the university into the athletic department. And it felt like Coach Mack had to raise a lot of money, helped raise money for NIL, helped raise money for his own program. And so I think there was probably some concerns there. I don't know how much of that was answered in this new extension, but I think it was certainly something that was brought up.
Yeah, the quote was really good toward the end of your column here. You wrote some thoughts down, obviously, aside from the kind of news story as well, and talking to donors. As one said, quote, "If Mac leaves, this thing falls apart. We don't want to become DePaul." That's kind of it's kind of staggering. It's scary, and I mean, isn't that ultimately the driving force behind really from all, but I mean specifically from Creighton, and like, hey, we're going to have to deal with Greg McDermott not being the coach here at some point, but we don't have to deal with it now. So let's not deal with it now, and then figure out a plan in the meantime, and still win a lot of basketball games too.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's the fear that he was so tied to a lot of the fundraising and a lot of some of the NIL that if he left, some of that might dry up. So, I think there's, but it's who's to say they would have hired somebody else who could have come in and maybe done that also. So, but that's just the. Donors get attached to the guy, especially when he's winning. He's the right fit, and he's so they don't want to lose that. So, who knows if it ever would have gotten to that point? DePaul has made several
Horrible hires.
Bad hire, questionable hires in a row. So it's not like, that it's taken a while for them to be like that. So, I just think it's, who knows what would have happened, but, fortunately, we'll never know. I mean, he's the right fit, and it's just, this thing is just going to keep rolling. I mean, they've got other recruits coming in, and it's an attractive place if you're a transfer. There's every hope that they're going to get Brenner and Ashworth back next year.
Maybe.
If they don't, they don't. But it's certainly a place where nobody's trying to leave. Nobody's in a hurry to leave. So
I felt this year, Tom, and more so at the beginning of the year when Creighton, they weren't struggling really by any means, but it wasn't they hadn't really turned into kind of what they've been for the last 6 weeks or a month or so here, and I felt at the beginning of the year the crowd sort of reflected that the expectation for the program had jumped, and that they broke through a lot of walls over the last couple of years. They've now been to a Sweet 16. They've now been to an Elite 8, and the expectation just keeps growing higher and higher and higher. I wonder where it will settle in terms of fans' expectations for the program, and given that now there's sort of like a time limit, I guess, on Mac being here. That he's going to be here, but there's 5, 7, however many years are left at his time in Omaha. Like, obviously they can accomplish a lot, but the expectations are going to be really high.
And that's what you want. I mean, that shows the growth of the program. I mean, but it was going to take a while, right? I mean, you come from the Missouri Valley, and certainly the first year they adjusted with that great team. I believe they finished second or third. I'm too old to remember which one it was, but obviously they did very well that first year. But then you've got to reload. You've got to learn how to recruit. You've got to right in the middle of all that. You got the transfer portal rules. So, and the NIL. So he had to adjust to that as well. I love that I think the expectation in a given year is going to be Sweet 16. I mean, it doesn't mean you're always going to get it, and it doesn't mean you're going to tear things up if you don't get it. I mean, I think there's a lot of really good perspective around Creighton basketball. It's not just about the end result; it's about how they play and what kind of guys they have.
Yes,
and the fans really enjoy that. So. The expectations are there, but again, that's good. That means you're a upper level program, and that's what you want. So it doesn't mean you're always going to get it, but that's what you want.
What do you think about this group and how much of a chance they have to go deep into the tournament? Is it different than what it was, in mid-January, or whenever you sort of looked at the team and thought, man, I just don't know. I feel like they've really locked themselves into a sweet spot here, but there's always the crapshoot of March, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, how far do you think they have a chance to go?
I don't know. I mean, tell me who they're playing and what kind of team they're playing. I mean, to me, that's much more important than being a 2 or 3 seed. Or I understand being a 2, you're probably going to be set up better, but they just after UConn, when we saw Jason Green doing his thing, and looks like Ashworth was really doing well. They go to St. John's, and all of a sudden the bench is gone again. I mean, I don't know what I'm anxious to see tomorrow. How that works. We know Villanova is gonna give them their best shot. They have to have it. Connor, I don't know if I trust that bench yet. If the shooting is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
There's some games it's not there. Usually it's there at home. So a lot of teams play really well at home. I think I mean, without knowing who they're going to play, I think it's a Sweet 16 team. I really do. I think they'll figure out a way to win 2 somewhere, and then but I think that the lack of bench and athleticism is just going to catch up to them eventually. When you get to that second weekend. So I certainly don't think it's a Final Four team. I'd be more than happy to be wrong.
Yeah,
and get to spend 4 or 5 days out in the Scottsdale, Glendale area. But I don't think it is. But I think it's a Sweet 16 team. But you get the wrong matchup early. Team with length and athleticism and a physical. It could be rolling the dice too. So, but they got to make shots. Fortunately, they got a lot of guys who know how to make shots.
Hey, by the way, if we don't talk to you before the tournament, are you going to be here no matter what for the tournament, or do you guys have your plan sort of laid out for who goes where, depending on who ends up where in the tournament?
Well, we have to discuss that.
Yeah,
it's not done yet.
There's a lot of potential places you could be.
Well, my plan was to be here.
Yeah.
Because I think a columnist should be here for the just because of the NCAA event. We're gonna cover Creighton. We're gonna cover Nebraska.
Oh yeah.
But the angle with Nebraska not having won a game is it's a pretty big deal. If that would happen, you cover sports around here, you probably want to be there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
hopefully it's here and you don't have to think about it.
Well, if they're a 10, I think there's a better chance. If they're a 9, there's no way.
Right.
I don't think they're going to be a 9. I just don't. I know Lenardi's got them as a 9, but I think it's just not. I think it's too high. I think it's probably a 10, but if they're 9, they're going to be in either Brooklyn with UConn or Memphis with Houston.
Oof.
Or maybe Charlotte with Tennessee, and what's the other one? Indy with the Boilers. I don't think it'll be Indy. I don't think they won't put a Big Ten team 8 or 9 against one. I guess
right.
they'll do in the second round. So I think it'll be Brooklyn. If they're 9, it'll be Brooklyn or probably Memphis. But I don't think there'll be a 9. I just don't.
Fun couple weeks coming up, Tom. Thanks for coming on as always. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, sir. Bye.
Tom Shatel from the Omaha World Herald.